Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So today I want to touch on something that a lot of people have asked me to, because I asked you if you want me to and a lot of you said yes, and a lot of people have spoken about also, but I want to approach it from an aspect that I don't really see anyone talking about as much. And I want to touch on, in my opinion, and looking at some figure bits, why some influencer brands are successful and why some fail. So I don't want to focus on their dramas, their non-dramas, although they do play a key role in it also, but I think enough people have spoken about this viewpoint, timing in their career, which I do think again plays a big part in the success of an influencer brand. But I want to touch on something that I feel like no one else is seeing or talking about, but I've seen anyway. So before we get into it today, please give this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing for more videos like this. I want to say thank you as well for all your comments on my videos in this series, whatever this series is. I've been really enjoying making them for you, so do consider subscribing so you get updated when I release another one. And of course I'll be doing my makeup throughout. I will leave a link to everything down below in the description box. I don't want to flash it up on the screen because I think it's distracting, and then I get distracted in my head. So we are currently in a phase in the beauty influencer world where everyone seems to be over influencer brands, celebrity brands, and let's be real, everyone's over influencers and celebrities in general. The beauty YouTuber industry space has changed a lot from what it used to be like even a few years ago, for the better, but also in some people's opinion for the worst. So I asked you all on Instagram, I need to remember what I asked you because my memory, it was only yesterday. So I said, I'm doing some research. How do you feel about influencer beauty brands? Not one in particular, because usually I get messaged like, I hate this person. It's like, that's not what I asked. But in general, do you have favorites? Do you support them? Do you have different opinions depending whose brand it is? Etc, etc. Question. The results, I could sit here and read the responses, but it's all pretty much the same. Cash grabs, they're cash grabs. It's a no, I'll never try them, I'm not interested. Hate the new ones coming out, you can tell it's a cash grab. Of course it's a new way of making money, but it does irritate me when people who know nothing about skin just make the brands for the sake of it when they don't have any benefits for you. Definitely depends on who. Some come off as grabs, while others genuinely impress me. It depends really. People are saying, well, it depends on who the brand is. So I want to touch on that a little bit later too. So I had so many thoughts in my head, influencer brands and opinions on them, and why people are in this kind of mind frame that, you know, influencer brands are like failing. So I was like, how can I talk about this? So I've categorized influencer brands into two categories. And I could probably do more, but in my head, this is what I need to do to kind of get my point across. So the two categories, YouTuber versus TikToker, and the second category is the professionals. So let's talk about YouTubers versus TikTokers. Follow me, bear with me and follow me. Let's start with YouTubers, right? It seems inevitable that a beauty YouTuber is gonna bring out a brand eventually. I feel like there's a timeline for beauty influencers, and it's like YouTuber, podcaster, brand. But when it comes to TikTokers, something just doesn't feel the same. It's kind of not expected as much. You know, you wouldn't be like, oh, here's that person coming out with a new brand. And when it does happen for the TikToker, people scream like money grab more than ever, more so with TikTokers. So one thing I believe, what am I doing today? One thing I believe plays a huge part in the success of an influencer brand, whether it's a good or bad thing in your perspective, is parasocial relationships. Now, if you're unfamiliar with parasocial relationships or what that kind of means, let me tell you what the definition is. A parasocial relationship is the connection or imagined connection between a regular person and a fictional character, celebrity, or public figure. Before the days of TikTok and our really minute attention spans, we would watch, 30 minutes to an hour of somebody's vlog, or somebody getting ready in their room, somebody like a day in the life of me cleaning my kitchen. You know, we would be with that creator for hours a week, like looking into their lives, their personal lives, their private lives. And you begin to kind of learn everything you learn everything about their personalities. So everything you see online, you kind of get an idea of the person, who they are, their likes, their dislikes. Do you connect with them? Are you a similar person? And we can make some wrongful assumptions about them and their lives, their intentions, their personalities. Sometimes we're right. Have you ever watched a YouTube couple go through like their whole lives, right? Like you watch them get engaged, buy a house together, get married, have a child, and then also get divorced? We can spend years with these people intentionally choosing to watch their 10-minute plus content. I chose 10 minutes because is it 8 to 10 minutes is the minimum required for mid-roll ads in a video. So people usually make it 8 to 10 minutes. And this is a positive for YouTubers. So I want to give you an example as to why a parasocial relationship works out to be a positive for an influencer who has created their own brand, whether that be beauty, whether it be homeware, whether it be clothing. I did a video recently on Dragon Beauty. I forgot to turn my microphone on through the whole thing, so the audio is terrible. And one point I made in that video, which was discussing the decline of a brand, was the online presence of a YouTuber during the brand's existence. So Nikita, while launching a brand, and thereafter very rarely made an appearance on YouTube, on her own YouTube channel. And let's compare that, for example, to, let's say, Luna Beauty by Manny MUA or Forever Mood from Jackie Aina. So also Luna Beauty still has a prominence in the beauty space. Forever Mood, prominent still in a beauty space because it's related to Jackie Aina. And they've taken that brand to something that's bigger, let's say, than an influencer brand. But why? What is different between what these two creators do and then brands that have maybe not been as popular or not doing as well, or maybe just completely fallen off the bus? What's the phrase? Fallen off. Things have fallen off a bus. So I want to start off by saying probably one of the main reasons is because the product is good. Let's just get out of the way. And let me tell you my opinion. And I'm gonna go into this a little bit more. You're gonna think, what? That doesn't make sense. They have both been continuously and not constantly, not every single day, but regularly posting to social media since the launches of their brands. No 6-month breaks, no 1-year break, no 2-year breaks and coming back like my return to YouTube, you know? No just relying on the brands to make money all by themselves. These influencers understand the importance of a relationship with their YouTube audience, Instagram audience, wherever they are posting still, they understand that relationship. Let me touch on this even more, even deeper. I have no foundation brushes and one's not gonna dry in time, so I'm just gonna tap it with my fingers. So I spoke about it again briefly in the Dragon Beauty video, but my perspective is that when a influencer brand launches, it begins as merchandise for the influencer. Hear me out. Their name might be on their brand, their face might be on the brand, or you just know it's theirs, you know? Why would you not want to support that content creator you've supported for years and years and years, perhaps a whole decade of your life? Why would you not want to support them by, buying their t-shirt, their merchandise, their collaboration with a brand, or, their own brand? And then eventually, bigger stores pick up the products and sell them, and then some advertising happens on their behalf, and then it starts to reach people that perhaps aren't familiar with the influencer but see a good product and want to pick one up for themselves, and then they have no idea they have this person's lip gloss or this person's hair stuff or this person's candle, They just get it because it has good reviews, because it's a good product and it looks nice. Looks like something they would want to try. So parasocial relationships may take a while to form, but they can fade out super quick. This is why you see some influencers releasing videos a few months around their newest launch. After, being away for 7 months, it's like, my return, I'm gonna try and post on YouTube more, my return to YouTube. It's kind of like, their comeback to remind you, hey, remember when you used to like me and we used to, hang out? So how do parasocial relationships work for TikTokers? This is where it gets interesting. I want you, let's start this way. I want you to think about when you use TikTok. For me, I'll be honest, I'm on the toilet. I'm watching TV in the evening. Perhaps I'm just, flicking through because why not? Or I've just got into bed, I'm tired, I just want to have a quick look through my phone. I just stumble on TikTok. Or perhaps, I'm trying to waste time. Maybe I'm waiting for an Uber and I don't want to look up and be social with anyone around me, I would genuinely like to know in the comments, when do you use TikTok? When are you scrolling on TikTok versus when do you watch content on YouTube? If you use both, don't worry if you don't use both. Retention rate on TikTok is very low. And by retention rate, I mean the amount of time somebody is watching one TikTok for. So the average person will watch a TikTok for a maximum of 31 seconds and a minimum of 11 seconds before they carry on scrolling and going through and watching for another 1 second, not interested, not interested, not interested. In fact, TikTok users described videos longer than 1 minute as stressful. So this video would kill them. There is no time to form a parasocial relationship with a TikToker who are exclusively on that platform or exclusively make short form content. Do you think people are going to be excited for a TikToker's major life event that they spent what? They spent like 2 minutes overall watching them prep for this thing. No, who cares? Happy for them, but who cares? On to the next. We don't have time to like suss them out or know who they are or know their personality or do all, you know, all this stuff. We don't know them at all, really. So if we look at failing brands who are from influencers, who are still regularly posting full time, they are from TikTok. They either found fame on TikTok or their popularity rose more on the platform, on TikTok's platform, versus maybe their YouTube channel. Perhaps their brand is still around, but it's taken a dive in sales, or not produced as many sales as they would have hoped initially. So let's talk numbers. I'm not talking money or like figures. I mean followers, okay? Let's take the value of a YouTuber with a following of 1 million versus a TikToker with the following of 1 million. I found this very interesting. This is something I knew already, but I wanted to find where I learned it from, where the information came from. And this is an article I found from LinkedIn. This is by, let me read his name, Jim Louderback. It's from 2021, but the information is still very relevant. And I quote, "The baseline is either 100,000 YouTube subs, 125,000 Instagram followers, or 2.5 million TikTok followers. This makes TikTok followers worth just 4% of a YouTube sub, while you need 1.25 Instagram followers to match the same sub on YouTube. It's a dramatic de-evaluation of TikTok's subscriber base and is likely more predicted on what you can earn on TikTok versus the value of each community member." I have to slightly disagree with that last chunk, but again, I'll touch on it. From personal experience, right, it took me 5 years of posting to YouTube, not seriously all the time, not regularly, not wanting it to be my career, to get 100,000 subscribers and then take on YouTube full time. It's a huge milestone for a YouTuber. In fact, YouTube even send you a plaque. There's mine. Here, and I have another one in that corner for the joint channel with my twin brother. On TikTok, it took me 2 years to get just over 300,000 followers. Not posting regularly, going months without posting. In fact, I've only been posting regularly the past 2-3 months. Now, granted, when I joined TikTok, I already had a following, a base of people who perhaps would go over to TikTok. But a lot of the comments on my TikTok don't know me from YouTube. They don't know who I am. They don't know anything like that. And a lot of my following on YouTube here don't even have TikTok. I know that because I'm like, go and follow me on TikTok. They're like, I don't have it, and I won't. Another thing I found really interesting was VidCon that happened. Was it last year or the year before? Can't remember. Whenever it happened. So VidCon, for those who don't know, used to get like thousands and thousands of people buying tickets, visiting, like hoping to meet their favorite YouTubers, content creators, just people that they kind of had like made a relationship, parasocial relationship with over online. It's like a meet and greet for people. You wouldn't just buy the tickets just for one person, you would buy the tickets for the whole event and then you would go to VidCon and meet this person. I think anyway. Maybe you would buy it for just a person, who knows? Anyway. Irrelevant to what I'm saying. So this is another interesting article I found on digitalvoices.com. It gave a really great example of this. This year at VidCon, there was a large increase of TikTok creators attending. The rise of short form videos on TikTok has impacted how viewers connect with influencers. The nature of the content differs from YouTube creators in particular. The intimate content shared, such as a day in a life or come with me to whatever, gave viewers an exclusive insight into someone's life, daily struggles, home and family. But on TikTok, this has now transitioned to less personal and light-hearted styled snippet content. As a result of this shift, TikTok creators at VidCon experienced ill-attended meet and greets and influencer talks. I don't know about you, I'm not even sure who I'm following on TikTok. I can tell you who I'm subscribed to on YouTube though. But TikTok, no idea. Sometimes I don't even recognize them coming up on my thing, even if I am following them. So I remember seeing TikToks, I wish I remember when. Was it a few years back or was it last year? And it was of creators TikTok creators attending VidCon, and basically they had their own meet and greet set up. Now these people had millions of followers on TikTok, and they had queues set up ready to accommodate hundreds of people to meet them. And there was some really horrible, quite I felt really bad for them. There was some footage of them kind of standing, you know, at their meet and greet spot. No queue, absolutely no one. Queue rows down, people standing in line waiting for them, which is kind of potentially embarrassing in some way. It's kind of like, oh, I've made all this effort. I've come out here to meet people and it's just not working out, you know, how they would have liked it, how they were expecting. I think they ended up, you know, meeting like 1 or 2 people, but it's not really that much, especially when something like VidCon has invited you out to have your own meet and greet. It's exciting, it's really exciting, and then to be so let down like that, it's not on them. Like 1 million seems like a lot, right? The number 1 million seems like a lot of people, but then again, that's how TikTok works. You can get millions of followers, doesn't mean they're following you.
Last year at VidCon, Grace Africa was an influencer who had millions of TikTok followers, did a meetup, and actually nobody showed up, but it went viral that nobody came. The unlock there was for years people have been doing meetups with their YouTube audience. The TikTok audience, though, didn't have the same depth. The short form vertical video across platforms is kind of like empty calories. YouTube is like real protein that you need to survive for your brand, for your business.
And I feel like brands and content creators haven't come to grips with this concept yet. Although the numbers may seem impressive, the actual effect of these followers depends on the platform. Of course, and we have those TikToks with maybe above 10 million followers who can sell a collab or sell out a product. Sell out is a whole different story. But this makes sense. So if we're looking at the follower percentage difference, 10 million followers on TikTok is, let me work that out, 400,000 on YouTube. And with TikTok's algorithm, which is your content gets seen a lot more than, let's say, on YouTube, it's a lot easier to be seen by people not even looking for you. Your reach is definitely wider. Whether that wider reach choose to scroll past and keep going is up to them. Using that example of VidCon, right? TikTokers have millions of people following them. But let's swap out that VidCon meet and greet for their own brand. When it comes down to it, will these TikTok followers show up? Quite literally and figuratively speaking, I would love to hear what you think about this down below. And I'll be reading to that conversation because I find it fascinating that the parasocial relationship can literally be put into figures and give us a good example of why some things may succeed, whether that be a meet and greet, a brand, whatever, and some things don't. Okay, let's touch on the professional super quick. So I want to tell you about a message, story time. I want to tell you about a message I got on Instagram ages ago. And no, please no offense to this person who messaged this to me, but as a makeup artist, I was horrified and insulted by this message. So they said to me, oh, could you please take a look at this influencer's YouTube channel? They do really amazing makeup. I'd love to see you do a reaction video to them. So I opened the link they sent, and who was it they're asking me to react to? It's Lisa Eldridge, iconic makeup artist, Lisa Eldridge. I was like, influencer? So I replied and I said, asking me to react to a Lisa Eldridge video and critique the video is like asking a drunk karaoke singer to critique Beyonce. So we have a lot of professional brands, especially here in the UK. We have Lisa Eldridge, we have Caroline Hirons, who has her own skincare brand. We have Vive from Jamie Genevieve, Real Techniques when they launched, Ruby Hammer, and we now have Ate Jewel Beauty, which do a beautiful cream blush. And these are all brands from beauty professionals in the UK. And I've had the pleasure of being around these people at events, things like that. And let me tell you, it's a whole different vibe. Not that influence events have a bad vibe here in the UK, everyone's actually incredibly nice, but there's something different about these like beauty professionals, the way they support each other, the way they, you know that the products are going to be amazing because perhaps they've known each other for all these years, and they know what they're talking about. They are respected professionals and they have established careers, knowledge, and they have respectfully made a name for themselves. And they don't fit into the category of influencer brands. They may have an online presence, but a lot of the time it's verging more on like celebrity, So are influencer brands failing? Are we really over them? I don't believe so. I think it depends on the influencer and the circumstances that led them to making their brand or thinking it was a good idea to make their brand. You know, whether they be overestimating the powers of their following or thinking people are, you know, more interested in them than they actually are. I think it's time for influencers to kind of be a bit more realistic and educate themselves in their following and their platform, their engagement. And although TikTok is still, you know, a relatively new platform, and I know it's been around for years, but influencer marketing is relatively new in the way it's always changing. I think influencers need to be a little bit more realistic with themselves and what their following really means. And by the way, all of this is nothing against TikTokers. I think they work really hard to make their content. It's constant, it's all the time, and they can potentially earn a great living from sponsorships. I do think TikTok should pay them more. I'm sure they're making a killing, like spread the wealth. There are many other factors that can come into this. Age, for example, who has the money, who doesn't? Is your audience 14 or are your audience 25 to 65? You know, do they want your product? Are they interested in you? Does it make sense? There's so many other factors we can think about, but I just really wanted to touch on those two today. Let me know your thoughts below. I am genuinely intrigued to know what people think about this topic in relevance to these examples. So we'll have that conversation down below. Thank you so much again for joining me. Give this video a thumbs up. You can watch more content like this here, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.